The live. Ah, the live. Okay. Warm up.
Welcome everybody joining us this morning. I am Olga Tamanova. Welcome to Ukrainian Media Center at Ukraine Forum. Today is day number 825 since the full-scale Russian invasion against our land. However, we have invited you to something special. We will have a press conference on the performance of the Kyiv Camerata at New York's stages. We'll have Bogdana Pivnenko, the General Director of the National Ensemble of Soloists, Kyiv Camerata. Keri-Lynn Wilson is a Canadian conductor of operatic and symphonic repertoire. Welcome to both of you. Keri-Lynn, it's a very special pleasure to have you here in these testing times for Ukraine. And I thank you. Welcome, everybody. I would like to ask you first, on the 28th of April, you had a performance at the Carnegie Hall, the National Ensemble of Soloists, Kyiv Camerata. You particularly, Keri-Lynn, directed one of the performances. The concert saw the premiered pieces of work exclusively by the Ukrainian authors. My first question is to share with us what's your impression. How did the public receive the Ukrainian culture, which is very important to us? Indeed, this is very important. One, I am here in Kiev today together with Bogdana Pivnenko, a person who has invited me to Kiev. It is a very, very most important.
Значительный, meaningful, значимый. Дуже.
Quite a meaningful event to me. Where do I start? For 15 years, I haven't been to Kiev. Now I'm back. I was at the Kiev Opera House. I was at the Philharmonics. Now I'm working with the Kyiv Camerata. It is quite a different world that we are seeing. The world of war. And I feel very much a Ukrainian blood running within me. I am living through this war together with you. I am far away, however, I am close. I'm so close. You perhaps may know that I started to work with the Ukrainian orchestra. And from that time on, I am doing what I can at the Ukrainian front. Bogdana called me over the phone over 6 months ago. That was in last December, and she told me there is a chance to go to New York, but we don't have a conductor. Can you be a conductor? I said, of course, I'm willing to, but perhaps I will be engaged. And I had 1 week at my disposal, and Bogdana said, "We'll be there. Let's keep on working." We had no concert hall. We didn't have a hall for rehearsals. It was like a dream. It was incredible that in 6 months' time, in 4 months' time, we had Carnegie Hall for rehearsal, because the Ukrainian community in New York is very powerful and they support the Ukrainian culture. And behind me as a director, as the leader, and I said, let's do it. We will have a performance. It was a success because we heard Ukrainian. I was asked, what kind of repertoire are we performing? I said, solely Ukrainian. You know, only Ukrainian. Dvorak can be played in New York, Janacek and others. What we will perform will be the Ukrainian music. It was so happy for the audience, for me personally, to listen to the Ukrainian music at Carnegie Hall, exclusively Ukrainian music. I wouldn't know that was the first time. I can imagine it was the first time that exclusively Ukrainian repertoire was presented at Carnegie. Now I'm here in Kyiv. I am so happy. I directed yesterday my first concert at the at Kyiv Opera House, the thing called the Lost Happiness. This morning, we had a first rehearsal with the choir. It's a fantastic choir. Such a talented group, professional and very young people, but so highly qualified. One of the best choirs in Kyiv, in Ukraine, and let's say it, in the world. Now, what Keri-Lynn said is absolutely true. What I have seen on the Facebook, and I saw that she's directing Poleva's work in London, since I know Victoria Poleva very good. And I asked her, what will happen if we get acquainted with Keri-Lynn, and we would cooperate? To be honest with you, we were so excited. We wanted this to happen. And Keri-Lynn answered positive. We had a wow effect. What matters most is that I appreciate not only Keri-Lynn, because the Carnegie Hall success, the very fact that it happened, of course, goes to her husband, Mr. Galban, who's been supporting Ukraine from day one. He is backing up the Ukrainian Freedom Orchestra creation. At this gig, we thought that we had a very good rear, something that we were destined for success because for Keri-Lynn's efforts and because just Detonato participated. It was a cherry on the cake. She's a well-known star. We could take only Ukrainian over, and the star director and star singer secured the success with any program. But the fact that it was an exclusively Ukrainian program, what Keri-Lynn didn't say is that her point is that Ukrainian exists. Ukrainian culture, Ukrainian people are there. Somebody is trying to show that we are part of the Russian Empire, part of the former Soviet Union, but what we are doing on everyday systems is to say we exist, we have a tradition, we have culture, we have our culture. So my message is, without Keri-Lynn, this success would not have happened. We have to thank the master class. They were ARTNAP partners and charity organization US for Ukraine. They made our trip possible, but it's because of the exclusively Ukrainian repertoire. And we thank Keri-Lynn and Peter for that. Peter, unfortunately, can't be here with us this afternoon. It's only because he's busy. But he is here with us in our hearts. We thank you. And of course, I would like you to tell us what your plans are. On Thursday, you have been scheduled to perform in Kyiv. What is that going to be? Would you unveil that program? This is a program that echoes the Carnegie Hall program. What is special for me is the choir, the Kyiv chamber or choir. Maria Holovko will be the soloist. And together, we will show more talents. What is special about that is that Shchetynskyi Requiem will premiere in Kyiv, and because of Keri-Lynn's efforts, it'll be a premiere. You see, Lviv saw the premiere. Nobody in Kyiv so far hasn't heard. Again, the background of what's going on in Kharkiv. Shchetynskyi, it comes from Kharkiv, and Requiem is so urgent that we will hear the Requiem. But how does the company feel? How do they feel under the conductorship of such a star? What are the rehearsals like? That was the love from the first sight. When Keri-Lynn entered into the first rehearsal, the whole orchestra felt that we are reading from the same page, that we share something that I will dare say we fell in love with her. And we are so happy. Everybody who will be there at the concert on the 30th of May at the Kyiv Philharmonics will feel that. What I wrote post-Carnegie concert, you see, social media is all around us. You have to communicate with the public. And of course, emotions were so overwhelming that next day I didn't have enough words to spell out my feelings. But at that concert, I'm sure that this will be something everybody will feel at the Thursday concert. Because Keri-Lynn is so much full of love for Ukraine, for Ukrainian music, for Ukrainian performance. Everybody was overwhelmed with that love, not only the musicians, but the concert-going public as well. If you want to feel what a fully-hearted love for Ukraine, for Ukrainian music, come and hear us on Thursday. Come for our gig. Keri-Lynn, what was driving you when you made up your mind to go to Kyiv? What you are not talking about here in Kyiv is not the thing of security. The city is being bombarded all the time, where the rockets and missiles would hit. What made you make up your mind? I'm sure there were people whispering into your ear, don't go there, it's so unsecure. I've told you, I've been here for 2 years. On my smartphone, I have the air alert alarm going on. I know where the air alarms go off in Chernivtsi, in Kyiv, in Lviv, because my sister is living in Chernivtsi. I know where the alarms go off. And when it's 1 a.m. in New York, I wake up to that sound. I am living through with you. I'm not afraid. Yesterday on my trip, and I was going to Kyiv, I visited Bucha, I visited Irpin. It was so important for me to see, to witness. Of course, I saw that on television, but I wanted to be here. I was to the church at Irpin Cultural Center. A lot of video snips to share, to show everybody. In Kyiv, I feel as if that I am safe. Of course, there is a likelihood of something. As Bogdana told me once, we keep on living. We must keep on living. And I feel part of this. We thank you. Friends, if you have questions, let me know. But Keri-Lynn, I can't but ask you. We know that in 2022 you set up a Ukrainian Freedom Orchestra that toured around the world, in Europe, in America. How did you make that decision? Well, you see, my cousins, my brother and sister cousins, he is
Двоюрідний брат, він в армії.
Ale
he is a high-ranking officer. He was a journalist and a professor at Chernihiv University. 2014 was the time when he decided to go to the army. He was at Bucha, at Dnipro. He started his service since the beginning of the full-scale invasion. Now I was motivated to do something for Ukraine as well, but at the cultural front. I dreamt, it was my dream, to assist Ukrainian music and musicians. How can I do that? And I told myself, I will to Warsaw, I will see the refugees, and I will set up an orchestra. And there was a man who helped me, a person who and then planned the orchestra, and in 5 months' time, we had an orchestra up and running. We had our rehearsals in Warsaw, and we planned a tour, a very prestigious tour. It enjoyed such a success that, of course, we decided it was not the end of the road. We would keep on going.
this orchestra, symboliczny, z patronage Olena Zelenska, nasz patron.
Orchestra, the patron of our orchestra is First Lady. She supports our orchestra, and I believe that this is a symbolic orchestra, a talented company, a powerful.
The greatness of Ukrainian culture.
Ну і хоробрість українців.
Дякую. Кери-Лynn ще завжди говорить, що вони
And she always says that we are the soldiers in culture, that is the cultural front at its best. I would also like to make a point that this was a vociferous project. The Keri-Lynn's and Peter's project is an institution for others who were waiting in the wings. I think what Keri-Lynn and her husband have done can't be overestimated in promoting Ukrainians' music and Ukrainians' image among throughout the world. Where can we get the tickets? Are tickets available? Where will it take place? We've almost sold out our concert, but there will be additional seats available. you can contact me through the Facebook. You can write to me, and I will make sure that everybody who wants to be there will make it. It will be an absolutely exclusive performance. It will be the gig of the year. Keri-Lynn, I would like to ask you, we have this feeling that we are not doing our best. We underperform on the world stage. We always think that there's something that can be done. What's your feeling? What's your take? How can we make Ukrainian image stronger to get the international backers to help us? Or we still occupy powerful places in world's stage?
World recognizes Ukraine and its culture. So it's not your responsibility. I think it's our responsibility. And that's why I am here. Not because I have Ukrainian blood, because I'm a human. We have to support each other, no matter what. You are my sisters, you're my brothers, and you are suffering a crisis, horror, and injustice. So I am here to give some sense of inspiration, to give some hope to people who are losing hope, and to make music with my colleagues who deserve to express themselves and be a vehicle for Ukrainian composers, which is so vital. Do you want to... Треба...
Всі розуміють.
Так, всі
Всі
зрозуміють.
розуміють. І продовжую. І я хочу продовжувати.
I want to keep on working. Once we have won, once we have prevailed, and after we have prevailed,
My feelings will be just as strong to continue to support Ukrainian culture. Because, first of all, we have to rebuild Ukraine. And also because it is a strong and vital nation and should be recognized like every other country in the European Union and every other democratic country. So I see a huge future for Ukraine. Its culture is really growing right now because of the war. If there's anything that comes out of the war, it is this movement of desire to express oneself. And of course, more than words can be music. Words, I'm sure literates, poets are being very, very creative now. And because they're inspired by horror, by terror, by suffering. That's usually, of course, throughout history when there's a lot of art that is grown from this. So this is a very vital time that will blossom like a flower after we have won. Після перемоги. And we must rebuild Ukraine. So until the day I die, I'm devoted to Ukraine.
Дякуємо вам за ці слова. Ми, безумовно, знаємо і віримо, що
of course, we know that we will secure our victory. We will prevail. We'll do our best to reconstruct Ukraine in the future. I thank you so much for being here with us, for joining us at the studios. We thank you for your support, something that is difficult to overestimate. We have to thank Kyiv Camerata and Bogdana. There's one thing I wanted to say, that this morning at the rehearsals, Bogdana said, where do we start? What's number one to perform? And I suggested the thing, we are. That the paraphrase of the Yuri Shevchenko's anthem, the first time we begin to play at Kiev, the thing called We Are, We Exist, We wish you all success possible, success of a concert. Come here to Kyiv, join this amazing story. It's worth seeing. Bogdana Pivnenko is one of the best virtuoso in the world. All the things that she is playing, I adore her talent. Not only she is a superwoman. We thank you a lot. We are sure that the Ukrainian women with the Ukrainian background are super. Thank you for this talk. It inspires us. Friends, join us. Let me remind you that Bogdana Pivnenko and Keri-Lynn Wilson have been here with us. We will continue working toward the Ukrainian victory. Stay tuned, and glory to Ukraine. Thank you.